Welcome back to the Snod Pod with John Snodgrass, your mortgage resource, where we're talking real estate, mortgages, and beyond. Today, I've brought in a friend, a first-time home buyer. We started working together early April, and I wanted to bring him in to kind of let my listeners kind of experience how tough it is out there to get an accepted offer. This is my friend Chris. Thanks for coming in, Chris. So Chris got top tier credit. He's putting 20 to 25% down. He's in the, do you mind if I share your range? Okay. 450-ish to 500 on the high end. So 25% down, he's a very strong candidate. He doesn't have a house to sell. I thought we'd have a house for him by now, but we don't. So anyways, Chris, let's just first start with, we hadn't actually talked to each other in a couple of years.
Yeah.
We knew each other back high school, college. And all of a sudden I got a call. Maybe it's been 5 years, but go ahead.
So thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.
I was living in Arizona for the last 6 to 7 years and, change of scenery and was soaking up the sun down there. And I've come to a point in my life where my mother's retiring and like the next chapter is revealing itself. And I wanted to become a homeowner back home in Wisconsin. And
we want you back. Thank you for coming back.
It's a point. I loved all the trees and grass. In Arizona, they say it's a desert. It's a dry heat, but like so is my oven. And I want to get back to where it's lush.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like this has been a goal for the last 5 years to save up the down payment and get ready to buy my first house. And I knew if by choosing Wisconsin, the only choice I had was to go to my friend John Snodgrass, the mortgage resource, to help me along in this process. Because I am a first-time homeowner and I don't know the process, but working with you has been an ease and a joy so far.
All right, thanks, man. So if you want to just real quick talk about, you called me.
Yeah,
pretty easy process.
So I remember when you started this whole gig like 20 years ago. Yeah. I remember you're a go-getter, rising up the charts, like a Chuck Berry single or something. Anyway, so I knew that you were my resource when the time came, if and when it was going to be in Wisconsin. So in early April, I was preparing for tax time, and me being an independent contractor, I didn't know if I needed 3 or 4 years or how many to do. You told me what to do.
2 years tax returns.
Great.
Sometimes it's one. But
yeah.
Go on.
So, I reached out to you, and you, gave me a list of things I needed to gather to present to help this process start, and we took it from there.
Yeah, 20-minute application. I had you the pre-approval by the end of the day.
Yeah, it was a very...
You got me the documents quickly, so that's always nice. Get the documents in quick. I love that.
For sure. I'm definitely a learner and easy and coachable through processes.
Yeah.
So having your expertise and knowledge really aided that process.
Sure. Well, so I just want to talk about kind of like this week was the third house you didn't get in the last 60 days or so.
Yeah.
If you could start maybe with that first one, which I think had like 20 offers, and you were in the running.
Yeah.
Like what was your, how much over asking?
Okay. So the first one was, I was really excited about because it checked off all the boxes, and it was over my initial estimated was around from like 400 to 450 is like kind of my target range. And this one came at 435. I think I went like 20 or 30,000 over, and then like waived a lot of home inspection and like a lot of repairs, and like it was ended up like $50,000 over. But there were 15 offers within a 3-day period. I simply just couldn't compete at that time.
Yeah.
But
you were in the running.
I was in the running.
On this last one.
Yeah.
That you had, or maybe was there anything different on the second one?
So on the second one, it was a little different. So the first one was a single family residence.
Okay.
And then I kind of pivoted maybe towards a condo since I may be trying to live that snowbird life, less maintenance up in here so I can still live in Arizona or
in the winter.
In the winter just to visit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just in case I do as my mom retires, and I'm just thinking down the road 5-10 years if she needs a place to live, like more or less turnkey to
care of her. Not that you
No.
I know what you're saying.
Creating a space accessible in case if and when the time comes I have to care for my mother.
Sure. That's very nice of you.
Yeah, so we pivoted to condo, and what I found is unlike a single family residence, I was only up against one offer versus 6 to 15.
Yeah.
So that was different. It seems like I'm in the single family residentials, I'm competing against the market this time of year where everyone's trying to move in that competitive range. It was really, really tough. So by pivoting towards the condo, it seemed like it made it a little less competitive, but I still didn't get it. Yeah.
Was it a cash offer you lost out to, or
so how it worked was
or they don't tell you exactly?
Yeah, I don't have the exact details, but from what it sounds like, I had a slightly better offer or equal offer to a cash offer versus our 25% down off, finance.
Got it. All right, so let's roll into the third one, which I'm going to kind of take the lead on.
Absolutely.
So this just happened Monday. This is a Thursday right now in early June. Chris called me on Monday. He said, hey, I'm in the running, house or condo, actually, kind of a townhome side by side next to a beautiful park.
Yeah, lovely.
Pickleball courts.
Love it.
Yeah, that would have been fun. But, and he said they countered. So I think the list price was $379. You offered $409 with a $15,000 appraisal gap. So they countered and said, hey, can you increase the appraisal gap to $30,000? So Chris was offering over $30,000. Chris called me. And in addition to that, they said, hey, and we want you to pay the whole property taxes for 2023, whereas normally if Chris were closing on July 15th, the seller would owe their portion of the property taxes, which would be January 1st to July 15th, and they'd give Chris a credit. So if the taxes were $6,000, the seller would give Chris a credit of $3,300. Here they're saying, no, we're not giving you a credit. You're on the hook for the whole year. So essentially Chris is kicking in an extra $3,300 beyond the $30,000 that he's already offered over asking. So that got added in, and he was like, I'm good with that. He's like, but what do you think about the appraisal gap? And he's like, do I have to put more money down? The answer is you could if you wanted to, because if it came in low, let's say, I don't know, 485.
385.
Oh, I'm sorry, 385.
Yeah.
Then the loan to value would put you over 80%, because in the lending world, we have to use the lower of the two values, either the purchase price or the appraisal value. So if the purchase price is 409, but the appraisal came in at 385, Chris was going to maybe put 20% down, maybe 25, but let's say he's doing 20. Well, now his loan to value was closer to 85%, and he didn't necessarily want to bring in more money. And I said, hey, that's fine. Here's the thing, because you've got top tier credit, the private mortgage insurance that you would have to pay, because now your loan to value is a little bit higher because we're using that lower appraisal value, would have been, I think when we ran the number, it was like $30 or $35.
Yeah.
Because of your top tier credit. So kudos to that.
Shout out Dave Ramsey.
Maybe that's Dave Ramsey, yeah. Hey, you listen to him, you got your good credit.
Yeah.
So anyways, I thought so Chris was like, should I do it? I'm like, yeah, hey, worst case, price is low. You got to pay a little bit of PMI in your payment, extra $30, $35. Mm-hmm. Who cares?
Yeah, and you said by doing the PMI, it would save me coming out of pocket up to $29,000. Depending on
whatever the
appraisal,
it would save you from bringing in the cash
out of pocket, which
would have been great.
Yeah,
you got to buy furniture and stuff.
Yeah.
So, long story short, Chris hung up, and I thought, man, paying the taxes, appraisal gap $30,000 from the purchase price, and he said he didn't get it. And I mean, that's number 3.
Yeah,
obviously it's
that was a tough one, because I was at a competitive. I was at the same or better offer, from what I gather, and the only thing that separated was a cash offer versus financed.
Yeah,
and I don't know what that means. Like, does the owner have to wait 30 days to get the money, or the chance that it couldn't go through? They just wanted the sure thing.
Yeah, so I mean, the cash offer is basically a sure thing. I mean, you still can walk away from a cash offer.
Yeah.
If you did, you typically would lose your earnest money. But yeah, it's more of a sure thing. So I think what happened here is your offer probably was better up front. Nobody knows for sure. Only the listing agent would know that. But they probably kind of used you to bring the seller, I'm sorry, the other buyer up, and it's cash. So this leads me into what, the owners of A+ mortgage have kind of, seen what's happening out there. Me and others that I work with are coming to them with stories like this. Hey, is there something else we can do? So A+ mortgage, where I work, we just rolled out with a cash offer program. There's a little bit more detail that we've got to, dig into everybody on like getting their tax transcripts from the IRS, which we ultimately do anyways. And your transcripts are essentially your tax returns. We're just making sure they match so there's no fraud with your tax returns, essentially. And there's a little bit of a fee in it, but it's worth it because now Chris, as of yesterday, is armed with the A+ cash offer program, and where we will give a proof of funds letter on your next one. Yeah. So it's not like 100% guaranteed that you're going to get the next one. Yeah. But if there's no other cash offers, I mean, now you can compete against a cash offer.
Yeah. A little more tools.
In the toolbox. So I'm glad we got you in that. I'm glad you signed up for it. It was a little extra work, not much. But I'd love to have you back on after your next one because you're going to get it. Yeah. And you're going to be a homeowner. I'm excited. So don't get frustrated. It's tough out there. Any first-time home buyers or any home buyers out there that are struggling, or any realtors that have some buyers that are struggling and they're working with, kind of that flimsy bank, pre-approval, have them call me, your mortgage resource. Yeah. John Snodgrass, I'll get them the A+ cash offer so they can get out there and get that next house and stop getting their heart broken. Yeah. Anything you want to add, Chris?
I just wanted to thank you for having me on and just walking me through the process because, I am a first-time home buyer and I'm learning a lot about everything we've been working.
There's a lot going on,
and it's just cool because I'm a quick learner and it feels like I'm understanding the process. And you've made, through your knowledge and experience, you just made it a pretty seamless transaction.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I try to make it as easy as possible because you know what? In real estate, it's such an emotional. I know on this last one, I felt so bad for you because you were like, "This is it," and I was like, "This is it." And you called me and you were deflated, and I'm like, "Hey, we got this new program. We're rolling it out here in a couple of days. So we're gonna get there, man. We will. We're gonna get there." Yeah. And in addition to have you coming back to talk about, you're gonna get this next house. Yeah, we're gonna get you that funds letter. Proof of funds letter, you're going to get it. But in addition to that, I'd like to bring you on to talk about, you're an independent contractor for one of the largest hot tub companies.
And swim spas.
Thanks for the reminder. Yeah. But I'd love to have you back on to talk about, maybe we'll call that podcast, hey, do hot tubs or swim spas add value to your home if you purchase it? Would you be willing to come back?
I'd love to, and I'd love to share some of my experience and the things I've been up to in the last 10 years of my career and share with you and your audience.
Yeah, perfect, with the hot tubs and swim spas. Awesome. Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Yeah. That'll be great.
Our goal in that is just to make you feel good.
Hey, okay, I love it. Who doesn't like to feel good? Well, let's wrap it up. Yep. Chris, thanks for coming on to tell your experiences in the first-time homebuyer realm and what's going on in the market.
It is tough out there, but I got resources available to me that help me every step of the way. Love you, man.
Thank you. Well, thanks for tuning in today and listening and watching the Snod Pod with John Snodgrass, your mortgage resource, where we're talking real estate, mortgages, and beyond. Hot tubs. Oh, that's kind of real estate.
It's in the
it's in the real estate realm because we're going to ask about
toys for the home.
There you go. Thanks for listening. Till next time.